So there's another connection here, right, which is your first game back that you played after the car crash. You were broadcasting that, you were doing the commentary. You remember that?
Very much so. DC United is a legendary club in Major League Soccer, iconic, and he was one of the coaches that had helped really put this league in a competitive spirit and developing top players and coaching top players and having helped me on my pathway to becoming a professional. All of a sudden, making it to that point where we're beating Spain in the Confederations Cup.
Scoring Azteca.
Scoring in Azteca, living my dream, so close to finally playing in a World Cup, cut short because of this car accident. And then realizing, okay, there's bigger things to life than sports and soccer. But I have to promise myself that I got to do everything I can to get back what I've lost. Because sometimes we take things for granted. And not that I didn't put everything into the sport, but I knew I took things for granted because I shouldn't have been in the position that I was in. So I said, I'm going to commit myself 24 hours a day to get back on the pitch. And there was questions if I'd be able to run again. So I finally get an opportunity to take a loan to DC United from my French club, Sochaux. In my first game back, it's a year and a half. I'm nervous. I come off the bench, and we get a penalty kick, and the captain's Dax McCarty picks up the ball, and he hands it to me, and he's like, here's your moment. And so that was the match where I felt I was reborn, not only as a player, but as a person, because I understood how hard I had to work to get to this point and how much harder I have to work to sustain that level, but the appreciation for the game and the support that I had, the love that I felt in that moment is indescribable. And Thomas Rongen was in the booth, and he was calling those goals. I scored 2 goals, and against Chad Marshall, who he also helped develop, which was just one of those magical moments that will always stand out in my life. What was going through your mind seeing me and...
Especially after all that rehab you had to do.
First, guilt.
Guilt?
Yeah, because I care deeply about the guys that I try to touch as best as I can so they can move up and play for the senior team. That I thought was my role as an under-20 coach. Develop them, make them better, which in all cases, although more different, but in your cases, that did happen. I never called you after the accident. And we had a connection.
Yeah.
Clint is more distant. But I also feel very bad about Clint because I knew that he lost his sister. And I lost my daughter probably a few months after the 2003 World Cup. I get a little emotional. And I never reached out to him because I do understand what he went through, and I know how big his sister's role was in your life. So I don't feel good about that. In saying that, it was an incredible occasion to call that game, obviously, and you do score, and you come back from this tragic situation that nobody thought you would even walk. So that's, in itself, obviously incredible.
Can I ask you a question? Is there a reason you didn't make those calls that now you say you wish you did?
I really don't know, Kate. I mean that sincerely. I didn't cry for 2 years. And I knew what he was going through, but I just couldn't pick up the phone, and I didn't know where to start. And I'm Dutch, I'm direct, so my emotions were all over the place. And I should have done, looking back, I'm almost 70, a better job in staying in touch, not just with a few, but with all the guys that I really genuinely cared about during my time that I touched you guys for a year or two at the under-20s, and I didn't. Something you learn from, obviously.
I mean, I feel like you should never lose sleep about anything with me. You gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. You allowed me to go Project 40, being on that U-20 team, allowed me to go pro. Forever, I will be indebted, grateful for that, you know what I mean? And then even though we don't talk, there's always love there, you know what I'm saying? Because I know how big that was for me. So, you know, in terms of me and you, bro, even though we don't talk that much, it's always been love.
I know that with most of my players. It seems like I have a unique ability to have something about me that players I don't know, maybe I'm Dutch, I'm democratic. I allow them to think with me. I make mistakes, they make mistakes. And I think my human side allowed these guys to get a little bit closer to me than to other coaches. And most of these guys that came back, Josie included, Eddie Johnson, that played for their MLS teams where they didn't play all the time. They would come to the under-20s where they would play all the time and enjoyed those experiences just like I did, because these guys just loved it. And those groups were always tight-knit, as they were then, as you guys are now. That's a brotherhood.
The moment before I took the penalty, I could feel the pressure.
Was that the game that you would have come back to and played in after y'all qualified for the World Cup? The national team game, would have that been in DC?
The car accident was on a Monday night. We were playing Wednesday in DC. So
it was almost like full circle in terms of that, right?
Completely full circle.
That's
and
crazy.
What was even more crazy about the situation was behind the bench, all the doctors and nurses who helped save my life that night were there. So I'm warming up and I'm looking at the doctor and he's like giving me the thumbs up. And I make the substitution, the penalty happens, he hands me the ball, I put it down, and I could feel the weight of the rest of my career, my life, the sacrifices I've made, and also at the same time, on the flip side, I let down a lot of people. I let down my family, I let down myself, I let down my family, I let down the fans, and I felt I owed everyone this moment to get back on the pitch, to do everything I could to show that I love the game and I appreciate, supporters and the faith. And so when I see it hit the back of the net, it's that emotion. I'm really feeling it inside,
Yeah.
but that emotion.
RFK's got a lot of iconic moments, all the way back to the Redskins, but also DC United, national team games. And I've been at most of them because I coached DC for quite a few years and stayed there for a long time when I was the under-20 coach or the Olympic coach or assistant coach of the national team. And that was in my top 3 of bone-chilling kind of moments that I've had in the booth. Brilliant.
This was cool to have you come through and share the stories. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. And love you guys. You know that.
It's a mutual feeling, man.
Oh my God, I'm getting up chunky and Thank you, Kate.
I appreciate you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
I should have told a story at the World Cup when I found out that Clint was a big-time freestyler.
Oh,
Yes.
And we win the group. We beat Korea. Actually, you play a little bit in there.
yes. But it was a game that,
And Knox Cameron, you remember Knox?
Yep.
Yeah,
the striker, yeah.
Coach, fucking Clint Dempsey, man. He's a freestyler. So I go, okay, Clint, we're in the bus. It's great. And he starts, and the whole team, and I didn't know Texas rap, man, was your, stuff in high school.
Yeah, my first car I had didn't have a radio, so it was like I would freestyle, what we were doing. There was a whole Swisher House thing, and then that was my thing. When you were the new guy, it's like, do something.
Right.
It's either tell a joke or freestyle. And I just would freestyle.
All right, same. Tell a joke or freestyle.
Neither. Y'all ain't gonna do me like that. No, hey, it's been a good show. All right.
Go ahead.
Close us out. It has been a
gotta-
good
you
show.
gotta do
Let's
it,
go.
man.
Gas
Close
us
it
up,
out.
like,
Freestyle.
Close us out.
Freestyle us out.
You sing. You sing. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm
Come on, you
good.
gotta-
They ain't gonna guess
This
me
is
up.
the
Hey,
pro-
Thomas.
Hey,
My brother.
Come on,
Dude,
I've
I've
never
nature to
seen
be.
you
Dude,
dunk.
if
That's
the
how you-
former
that's how you-
coach says
exactly.
that was one of the best performances, I mean it sincerely,
appreciate
on a
you.
bus on a bus in the UAE, with 100
Gotta get that tape out.
CIA agents with guns because of
Yeah.
the war, and you're rapping, freestyling
In other
Abu
words, why
Dhabi.
can't you do it in front of this audience?
Come on,
what the heck's
dude.
wrong
Come
with
on.
you?
All
Hey,
right.
I've never seen you turn one down.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Hey, we can rap about.
You
right.
you pick it, brother.
The show,
All right.
man, the show.
It's the boy named Clint. These haters, they got me bent. Everybody know I rap like 50 Cent. Nah, I got the solo cup, got the game sold up. Matter of fact, back in the day, you was in the World Cup for the U-20s, for the USA, ball and parlay.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this episode of Kickin' It, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to enjoy more raw and unfiltered content from me and the boys.